Hello and welcome to Levant TV Headlines. Moscow sees a growing chance to reach an international agreement on fighting terrorism in Syria and resolving the conflict, according to a Russian diplomatic source. Turkish jets launched airstrikes on a Kurdish militant camp in northern Iraq late on Tuesday, targeting a facility being used as an education and logistics hub. The European Union is urging Libya's warring factions to grasp the opportunity of a new peace deal and is promising massive backing once a unity government is formed. UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon has expressed deep concern over the rising number of civilian casualties in Yemen amid deadly Saudi airstrikes against the impoverished country, calling for an end to the conflict. And an 18-year-old Palestinian student who was shot and wounded by Israeli troops after she reportedly attempted to stab a soldier at checkpoint in the occupied West Bank has died. Now let's take a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting from Lebanon, the Daily Star leads, reporting that Health Minister Wael Abu Farour has ordered the removal of the piles of trash thrown randomly in Beirut's suburbs. The paper also reports that US Ambassador David Hale said Washington is not involved in Lebanon's recent series of anti-government protests. UAE's Khalij Times leads, reporting that more than 2 million Muslims started the first rites of the annual Hajj in Saudi Arabia, one of the world's largest pilgrimages that draws the faithful to the holy city of Mecca. The paper also reports that President Abd Rabbu Mansour Hadi returned to war-torn Yemen on Tuesday after 6 months in exile in Saudi Arabia, joining ministers in the city of Aden. The Egypt Independent leads, reporting that Palestinian activists warn that extremist Jewish groups in Israel are now openly calling for the destruction of the occupied East Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque to make way for a third Jewish temple. The paper also reports that the new Cairo court has extended the custody detention of former Agriculture Minister Salah Helal by 15 days over charges of corruption and bribery, which forced him out of office 2 weeks ago. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines from the UK papers. The Guardian leads its Middle East news, reporting that the first of 20,000 Syrian refugees to be taken in by the UK have arrived in the country. Details of the exact number of arrivals or where they are being resettled have not been provided, and they will not immediately be granted full asylum status, but instead a humanitarian status that will allow them to apply for asylum at the end of 5 years. The Independent leads its Middle East news, reporting that the Israeli Secret Service is suspected of being behind a series of mysterious yet highly sophisticated cyber spying attacks on decisive negotiations over Iran's nuclear program held at luxury hotels across Europe earlier this year. A Swiss newspaper, Der Tages-Anzeiger, said that research carried out by its staff had shown that cyber hackers had been able to snoop on all the negotiations using a highly sophisticated Trojan program, which had almost certainly been developed by Israeli Secret Service. The Telegraph reports that Pentagon-trained rebels in Syria are reported to have betrayed their American backers and handed their weapons over to Al-Qaeda in Syria immediately after re-entering the country. Fighters with Division 30, the moderate rebel division favored by the United States, surrendered to the Al-Qaeda-affiliated Jabhat al-Nusra, a raft of sources claimed on Monday night. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines in the international papers. From China, the Global Times reports that the Palestinian National Authority has called to form an international investigation panel to probe the killing of a Palestinian girl in the southern West Bank city of Hebron. The PNA government said in an official press statement that the international community is called to exert pressure on Israel to stop the occupation policy based on the easy killing of Palestinians without accountability. And finally, Germany's Deutsche Welle reports that President Abd Rabbu Mansour Hadi has returned to Yemen 6 months after he fled to exile in Saudi Arabia. Hadi's office said he would be in the city for at least 2 days and that he would meet members of the ruling cabinet and local authorities, as well as military and security chiefs. And for more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.